I reached out to you the other day about what was going on in the news with hepatitis B and Kennedy removing it from the CDC's vaccine schedule for kids. I was supposed to do a segment on News Nation about this, and they clipped the entire segment after I went to, fact checked everything, and people just don't. They're all bad or they're all good. And you and I got into a bit of a nuanced conversation before I thought I was going to do this with regard to a whooping cough versus a hepatitis B. So first, I want to show you CNN and the way they portrayed Kennedy removing Hep B from the childhood schedule, a newborn getting a hepatitis B shot on its first day of life. Take a look at this.
Why was this vaccine given to babies in the first place?
Thank you for asking that, because I think we've kind of forgotten the history of hepatitis B. So in 1991, the ACIP and the CDC made a universal recommendation. It was not a mandate, it was just a recommendation to give a birth dose of hepatitis B because we were seeing so many kids and teens with chronic hepatitis B. Now, it's always been an option for families to talk to their individual pediatrician, like I talked to my families, and in some cases choose to delay it by a few days, a few weeks, or a few months. But what this universal recommendation did was it gave us a huge safety net, and it decreased the number of babies that got hepatitis B. It dropped it by 99%. So we went from 16,000 cases a year to less than 20. And when newborns catch hepatitis B from their mom, and in most cases the moms don't know they have it, they have a 90% chance of going on to get this chronic hepatitis B, which is liver failure, liver cancer, and even death, and there is no cure.
So basically she's saying this was there to protect children from liver failure, and the evil and crazy Kennedy has now taken this away. Can you eviscerate everything that she just said there for our audience?
I don't want to eviscerate, because if you listen carefully to what she said, she was actually somewhat reasonable. She goes, "Oh, we delay the vaccine for my kids and my patients." And that's all that people are asking for, is the opportunity to make a decision when to get the hepatitis B vaccine, when it's appropriate. And you take that decision with your doctor, and you don't have it mandated on day one of life. So, she said many interesting things here that I can't refute. So I was around the original research on the hepatitis B vaccine. It was the early 1980s. And it was actually my residency director that was doing this research, one of the lead researchers in the world on this. Wow. What he was worried about, he was a Chinese gentleman and was worried about mother to child transmission in China and healthcare workers here. That was our only concern. We had no thoughts about other people except those really at-risk group. Why? Because when a mother has hepatitis B in this modern era, we know it. If you did not identify hepatitis B in a mother, you would be guilty of malpractice. You have to be talking about someone who got no prenatal care. Now, who has chronic hepatitis B? IV drug addicts can get it, but even in that group, we're vaccinating them. We're making sure they don't get it. It's not nearly as pervasive.
She's like, it's, so many kids, and then said 16,000. I'm like,
less than 20 now, less than 20. And so where does it come from? So it's almost exclusively, and I mean almost exclusively, in immigrants from certain regions of Asia where they still have a problem with hepatitis B. And guess what you would do as a practicing physician if you have somebody's contemplating pregnancy from those regions, is you check their fucking hepatitis screen. And then they go, "Oh, there's some people that may come into the window when you haven't detected it." Yeah, well, guess what? If they're in that window, their liver enzymes will likely be elevated. And if their enzymes go up, we're going to test you again. So in this era, it is an insane idea. Right. That we have to do it blindly because God knows. So the other problem is they're saying, well, yes, okay. I had a family member resist the hepatitis B vaccine, the pediatrician literally said that kid could get a needle stick in the park. There's no park. The kid doesn't walk. We'll talk about the hepatitis B vaccine later. That's fine. But it was just the pediatrician could not think. Yeah. Was not thinking. When doctors don't think, once again, it's a problem. So spurious ideas why they should be getting it. So the main reason that people argue reasonably for it is household transmission in people with chronic hepatitis B. Again, how many people are walking around this country with chronic hepatitis B whom we have no idea that is the case?
Right.
It must be less than 10.
And then
how many of those have the requisite level of the E antigen, which is what makes it very infectious? Maybe then 10% of those 10. So maybe there's one person walking around this country that, I mean, I'm being hyperbolic. Admittedly, I may be way loose with those numbers. Let's say it's 10,000 walking around that we don't know it. Still only 1,000 that could transmit it in their household. And that is then the mandate of the doctors to do their job, not that every child born in America should bear that responsibility. 3.6 million with unknown effect on the newborn. The safety testing on newborn was 5 days.
Right.
5 days, okay?
Yeah.
We don't know. Number one. Number two, and then they go, well, we've used it everywhere. It seems perfectly safe. No, people are questioning because we're not sure these things are safe, because we are seeing problems in these kids that seem to come from nowhere. Maybe it's the vaccine. Okay. So what was the last thing I was going to say about this? God, it gets crazy on crazy when you really think, oh, yeah, you said moms don't know they have hepatitis B. I don't know that mother exists in America. Maybe in Southeast Asia or something, we got a reason to be doing these vaccines. And then day one is weird. This is my last point. Why did we vaccinate? Why did that protocol develop that she mentioned? Developed because there was frustration with the adult uptake of the hepatitis B vaccine. Not enough adults were taking it to measurably affect the infectivity of this virus. Mm-hmm. And they decided, let's just give it to newborns. Right. Because adults are tolerating it so well, which we do. Do not equate the adult vaccine schedule with the infant vaccine schedules. Those are two different biological environments and two different decision matrices.
All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking